Greetings, Socrateses. I am Tia here. We're going through the Socratic Logic textbook together. I'm so excited to be doing this with you all. And I thought we would just start with the introduction. Seems like a good place to start. I actually have notes from like years ago when I was going to teach this, and I found them. And so I'm going to use them because I liked the notes that I put on them. So I'm going to kind of just bumble through this and stumble through it because they're thoughts from years ago I'm dusting off, and I thought I'd just do it with you. So I'm going to talk through, there's 13 good reasons why you should study logic. This is a list written by Peter Kraft in the textbook itself. This is just like a little printout version of it. If you're interested, the book is available online. You're a grown adult, find it and figure it out. Okay, so we're going to start here with the introduction. Section 1, what good is logic? 13 good reasons why you should study logic. Number 1, order. You may be wondering, what can I do with logic? The answer is that logic can do something with you. Logic builds the mental habit of thinking in an orderly way. I love that. That's so well said. And the little note that I put here is architecture and sound, structure and essence. And this is sort of what we're talking about when we're talking about polarity. There's structure and there's sound. There's the 4 pillars, and then there's what's in it. And so with this, what I'm doing, Lord have mercy, is addressing the structure of our minds. Oh, and all of heaven laughed. Oh, the giggles. Anyway, I am gonna do this. What I'm attempting to do with this, and my vision with this, is to help us structure our mind more orderly in a way that allows for our expression to take place more genuinely. That self-expression, us wanting to be ourselves, express ourselves, be as we are in this world, is largely dependent on our ability to structure our thoughts. I know there's like a lot of noise going on. I'm like outside in San Diego. I hope it's not too irritating. I'll take a look at the audio after this, but just know that I'm aware there's a bunch of noise, and I'm just gonna do this out here anyways because it's so cute. Hopefully it's not, like I said, too distracting, but if it is, I won't do these out here anymore. And then I also wrote that my sort of the way that I'm going to explain this work is thought form science. That this is the science of detecting thoughts that are entering into, and the thoughts that your mind, thoughts you're grabbing onto, the thoughts that you're allowing to take hold, so to speak, and really anchor into your reality, into the way that you're thinking, and actually opening up your mind, and addressing, looking honestly and thoughtfully at what's really going on. So that's what we're going to do. I'm very excited. Whew, here we go. That's number 1. Number 2, power. Logic has power, the power of proof and thus persuasion. My favorite quote probably in this whole book is this: this power of logic is rightly used to win the truth and defeat error. It is wrongly used to win the argument and defeat your opponent. I literally have a note on there that just says weeping. Oh man. But on that note, I just want to say, with this, it is not in any way my intention that you would learn these ways you're being manipulated and deceived potentially and take that anger out on those doing so. Most of the people who are perpetuating the logical fallacies that they are doing so largely unaware. It's largely happening as programs from their unconscious and subconscious. And so we really want to bring forgiveness to this on the front end. We are after finding truth. We're not after finding bad guys. And that's really one of the foundations of Socratic logic, is to not be going after a bad guy or trying to prove that you're the good guy. We're all together seeking truth. We're all together seeking the best way to find that truth in a way that places the least amount of blame. Because why not? That's at least my understanding of it, and my, I guess you could say, heart, like my perspective toward it. And that's the filter. It's going to be filtered through me and having those intentions. So I want to make that really clear, that if anyone steps outside of that, I don't support that in any way. It's not a part of my work to use this to beat people over the head with what you believe, or to even beat them over the head with this information if it's not something they're ready and willing to face in themselves. To face these logical fallacies a lot of times requires us to look at the way that we're the ones wrongly using the truth in order to get our point and perspective across. So anyone who's not willing to admit first that they may be the bad guy in this situation, that may be the one committing some of these logical fallacies, is probably someone who's just trying to prove their worth through philosophy, which I have so much compassion for. I've done it myself. But is not in any way welcome here in what I'm doing in my world, or in my sphere of influence, I guess, as I'm teaching this. So anyone doing that, you're not a part of what I'm doing. Anyone with those intentions, you're not allowed in my world as it is, or because there's going to be people brand new to this, and I need to take very seriously their innocence in this process. So I won't be using this to get my point across in any way. And anytime I do step into that, I will have a lot of people around me who will let me know if I don't find it in myself first and self-correct. So I will be open to any kind of correction which seems like I'm trying to get a particular point across. That's probably the only correction I'll be open to, and I'll always be willing to hear if it seems like that's what I'm doing, because I actually attempted to teach this several years ago and just had this internal check that was like, I'm not allowed to do this actually until there's not very much I can detect left in me that's really just trying to prove a point. That's really just like, here's my stance, and if you don't have this stance, you're an unsafe person to me. I waited and waited and waited and waited and waited until I really felt ready, in the sense that I'm not doing that. So that isn't to say that I don't love those kinds of people. That's to say that isn't the work that I'm doing. So I really wanted to make that aside. I want to make it very strongly and make it incredibly clear from the beginning what I am and I'm not about here on this platform. Certainly people will be able to take this work and do whatever they want with it. I won't have control over that. So once it's in their hands, it's in their hands. But for me and what I'm teaching, my intention is to not change minds. It is to help strengthen the way people think, how people think more clearly and orderly in themselves, that will lead them to a more beautifully lived life, whatever that looks like to them. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I feel better. Wait. I skipped point 3 and 4. Okay. 3, reading. Logic will help you with all of your other courses. That's only relevant if you're a student, obviously. But it's still relevant if you read. I got cut off by my own alarm that I set to remind myself of something that I want to remember. Okay, reading. Logic will help you with all your other courses if you're a student, because logic will help you read any book more clearly and effectively. And you should be reading if you're alive, I think. If you're able to read, that's a good discipline to have, to continually be reading. What would also behoove us is to recognize how frequently we are reading on social media. Like, to say that you don't read, if you're on Instagram, I know that's not true. If you're on Twitter, I know that's not true. What's true is simply you're only open to reading very small bits of information at a time, which is actually completely fine, and is one of the reasons that I'm doing this. But it's something you need to recognize is probably a pretty big part of your discipline. It's just that the content you're reading is on social media, it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, and either is or isn't stimulating your mind toward a life that is excellently lived, and only you know that. If social media to you seems like an enemy, I would wonder maybe, if it's possible that you've simply subscribed to so many accounts and programs on it that it's made itself to have a detrimental effect on you. Social media as a whole can sort of be seen a little bit more as like a self-reflective mechanism. Like money, it's amoral on its own. It shows you who you are. Social media, it's not really doing anything to you. You're signing up for it and opting into the content you choose. So while it is true that some content on the platform is pushed to you with regards to ads and suggested accounts that you may or may not want to see, most of your online experience and your social media experience is in some way curated by you. So it would be good to start taking responsibility for what you can control with regards to your social media usage and experience and consumption and creation. And to recognize that maybe sometimes your time would be better spent intentionally reading something that you know will benefit your life, that you know for sure you're opting into the exchange of information, you're opting into I want to learn this subject and I'm choosing to do so now. I think we kind of stopped doing that when we're not in school anymore, and I'm not sure that that's great that we stopped doing that. So I want to inspire you to do that. Or at least encourage you to, maybe, hopefully, if time allows. Okay. 4, writing. Logic will also help you to write more clearly and effectively, for clear writing and thinking are a package deal. The presence or absence of either one brings the presence or absence of the other. Muddled writing fosters muddled thinking, and muddled thinking fosters muddled writing. Clear writing fosters clear thinking, and clear thinking fosters clear writing. Oh my gosh, I literally have on a note on this. If you are on social media, you are a writer. Oh, that's so funny. There is nothing more effective than traditional logic in training you to be a clear, effective, and careful writer. It is simply impossible to communicate clearly and effectively without thinking clearly and effectively, and that means logic. All right. That's reasons 1 through 4. I'm going to leave this video at this for now. Thank you all for jumping on this journey with me. I appreciate every single second of attention that you give to thinking more clearly, Thank you for paying attention to your thoughts. Thank you for caring about your thoughts and the effect that they have on you and the world around you. Thank you for engaging in this work of opening your mind and delving delving into the magical and fantastic world of that, and being willing to face that with honesty so that we can create a more beautiful mind and a beautiful world through that introspection. I'm so excited to do this work with you all. I will be back soon with more reasons to study logic from the list from Peter Kraft, and we'll start the lessons very soon.